We look at coming to practice every day being the best player we can be as an individual and as a good teammate. Y'all look at it as like a competition. It's like that's not really nothing I'm just focused on.
I just come and show up every day, so I can't control, coaches. He's the head coach. He's the one calling the plays, and, he got to decide who he wants out there on the field. So at the end of the day, I got to just show up each and every day and be ready, and wait for my numbers called.
The Cleveland Browns quarterback battle is officially the story nobody can ignore anymore. This is not just about minicamp reps, practice clips, or who looks sharper in shorts. This is about Deshaun Watson trying to save the biggest investment the Browns have ever made at quarterback, while Shedeur Sanders is trying to prove he is not just the young name in the room, but a real threat to take the job. And right now, the message coming out of Cleveland is simple. This competition is real. That is what makes this whole situation so tense. The Browns are not dealing with a clean quarterback room. They're dealing with the pressure of a $230 million guaranteed contract, years of disappointment, a fan base that is tired of waiting, and a young quarterback who has already created real buzz. Watson has the experience, the contract, and the memory of what he used to be in Houston. Shedeur has the momentum, the confidence, and the chance to become the new direction of the franchise. That combination makes every practice report feel bigger than it should. When Shedeur spoke about the competition, he did not sound like someone trying to create drama. He basically said the players look at practice as a chance to become the best version of themselves and be good teammates. He said the media looks at it like a competition, but his focus is just showing up every day, working, and being ready when his number is called. That is exactly the right answer for a young quarterback in his position. He cannot control who Todd Monken chooses. He cannot control the contract Watson has. He cannot control the outside noise. He can only control his preparation.
That both Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders have looked really good in practice. Like, both of them are working really hard to get a feel for what this offense is and, more importantly, what the coaches want.
But even if Shedeur says he is not focused on the competition, everybody else is. That's just the reality. The Browns have not had stable quarterback play for years, and this fan base has lived through too many false starts to ignore a real battle when it appears. Every throw from Watson matters because fans are trying to figure out if he can still play. Every throw from Shedeur matters because fans are trying to figure out if he might be the future. That's the pressure inside the building, whether the players admit it or not. The reports from Cleveland are what make this even more interesting. The word is that both Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders have looked good in practice. They are both working hard. They are both trying to learn what Todd Monken wants from this offense. And that part matters because Monken is not the type of coach who is going to whisper his expectations. His voice is booming at practice. He is direct, and he is making it clear what he wants from the quarterbacks and the rest of the offense. That kind of coaching can either sharpen a quarterback or expose him fast. For Watson, the report that should get everyone's attention is that he looks fresh and healthy, almost like the Houston version of himself. Now, that is a huge statement, and Browns fans should be careful with it. Looking fresh in June is one thing. Looking like a starting quarterback in September is completely different. But even hearing that kind of language around Watson is important because the Browns have been waiting years to see anything close to the player they thought they were getting. If Watson really is moving better, throwing better, and looking more comfortable, then he has a real shot to win this job.
I just don't see it after the way Shedeur's played and Deshaun's played. They both played well enough to earn the right to compete to start. It's been great to watch them progress. The sad part is in 2 days they go away for 5 or 6 weeks. That's what sucks.
Still, nobody should pretend Watson is going all the way back to who he used to be. The Houston version of Deshaun Watson was once one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football. He could extend plays, create out of structure, attack defenses, and carry an offense even when things around him were not perfect. That player has not been seen in a long time. Too much time has passed. The injuries, the missed games, the rhythm issues, and the pressure in Cleveland have all changed the conversation. So, the question is not whether Watson can become top 5 again. The question is whether he can become good enough again. That's the difference. If Watson can get close to what he was, not all the way back, but close enough, then he probably wins the starting job. If he can move well, throw with confidence, read defenses, protect the ball, and command the offense, the Browns may decide he gives them the best chance early in the season. And if that happens, he's not just a bridge quarterback. He becomes a legitimate Week 1 starter with one final chance to change the story in Cleveland. But the word "if" is massive. If he's healthy, if he trusts his body, if he processes fast enough, if he avoids the ugly mistakes, if he handles pressure, if he looks more than a name from the past. That's what the Browns have to find out. They cannot rely on memories from Houston anymore. They need evidence in Cleveland. Practice reports are nice, but Watson has to prove it when the game gets real.
He's an afterthought. It's Shedeur and it's Deshaun. And early on, the signs were pointing to Deshaun. Maybe Shedeur has stepped it up. I don't know. Somebody's still got to take this thing.
That is why Shedeur cannot be overlooked. He may be unproven, but he is also not carrying the same baggage. He represents possibility. He represents a fresh start. He represents the type of young quarterback Browns fans can get excited about because there is no long history of disappointment attached to him yet. And the more he works, the more attention he gets. That line matters because it suggests Shedeur is not fading into the background. He is earning more chances. Here's the part nobody is talking about. The Browns have built this roster in a way that puts pressure on both quarterbacks to prove they are enough. They drafted offensive linemen. They drafted wide receivers. They already have Quinshon Judkins in the backfield. They are trying to give the offense more support, more speed, and more structure. That means Cleveland is not just saying, go figure it out. They are trying to create an environment where Watson or Shedeur can show whether the front office needs to invest in quarterback again in 2027. That is the bigger picture. The Browns have future draft capital, and everybody knows quarterback could still be on the table if this season does not answer the question. If Watson proves he can play, the Browns may not need to chase another quarterback. If Shedeur proves he can be the guy, that's even better because he gives them a younger and cheaper option. But if neither quarterback takes control, then Cleveland is right back where it always seems to be, looking at the next draft class and wondering who can finally solve the position.
And so I do think the starting quarterback job for Week 1 in Cleveland is wide open between both guys. If Deshaun is healthy enough to legitimately compete for it, then I think he has a legitimate shot to win it and be the Week 1 starter. And quite frankly, probably way better than just a bridge quarterback.
This competition is more than a Week 1 decision. It is a franchise direction decision. Watson winning the job means the Browns are giving the old investment one last real chance. Shedeur winning means the Browns may be moving into a new era faster than expected. And if the team tries to play the middle too long, it wastes valuable time for both players. This is where it gets dangerous. If the Browns choose Watson only because of the contract and Shedeur looks like the better player, Monken loses credibility fast. Players are not stupid. They see who moves the offense. They see who brings energy to the huddle. They see who makes the right reads. If Shedeur wins the room and still doesn't win the job, everybody will know. And that is how a quarterback decision poisons an entire team. But the same thing works the other way. If Watson clearly looks better, the Browns cannot start Shedeur just because fans are tired of the Watson era. The best player has to play. That is the only standard that matters. Here's the part nobody is talking about. August matters more than June. Minicamp shows progress but cannot fully reveal a quarterback. No real pass rushes, no live hits, defenses not disguising everything.
The real test comes when pads go on and preseason arrives. That is when Watson and Shedeur will actually separate. This is where young players usually make a mistake. They try to win the job with highlights instead of details. Shedeur cannot chase deep balls just because fans want a clip. He has to win coaches with consistency. The clean check down, the right protection call, the smart decision in the red zone. Those are the plays that win quarterback competitions. Watson has a different mistake to avoid. He cannot play like every rep is a chance to erase the last few years. He just has to show enough command and stability to make the Browns believe again. So, the debate is wide open. Watson has the history, the contract, and one last shot. Shedeur has the momentum, the freshness, and the chance to become the future. Cleveland has built the roster to give both quarterbacks help, but now one of them has to take hold of the job, and if neither one separates, all the draft picks, receivers, and offensive linemen will only lead back to the same question that has haunted Cleveland forever. Who is the quarterback, and when will the Browns finally get it right?